Hi, I'm Kathleen Weber. I am a certified EFT practitioner, and EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. It is also more commonly referred to as tapping because we tap on acupressure points while we're applying the techniques. So, before I became an EFT practitioner, I was a school counselor for many years and feel very fortunate to have been able to learn EFT and apply it with my students in school. Um, I saw a significant increase in the level of anxiety over my career, especially since the onset of COVID. And as we know, when students come into, a counseling office, they're often dysregulated and feeling overwhelmed and stressed and angry and sad and anxious about things and just need help to regain control of their thoughts and their emotions and their body. So prior to using EFT with my students, I really just felt like I was putting a bandage on their wounds, and with the skill set of EFT, it felt more like I was helping them to heal. And I was able to teach them how to use this themselves, which was really empowering. Um, so, with EFT, it was just really the perfect addition to what I already did. I would become curious, I would listen, try to understand things from their point of view, validate that it's okay for them to feel how they're feeling, and tapping felt like the magic ingredient that I needed to help move the emotion through their body. A lot of times it just felt like we're, just managing and enough to get them back into class. But this felt different and felt like it was much more of a healing process than just, like I said, putting a bandage on it. So, some of the examples of situations that I've used EFT with in schools and with students, I've used it for goal setting with students where we list the goal and then, just see how that sits in their body, what comes up. Yeah, but I can't do that, or I'm never going to be able to do this, or I've never been good at this. So we would work on using EFT to clear out those obstacles that get in the way of reaching their goal. And speaking of which, we would also use EFT to help shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, which is pretty remarkable because it's not something that you have to convince yourself of. When you use EFT, it just happens naturally because you're calming down the nervous system and they can think more clearly. Um, so I've also used it to help students who've had panic attacks to regain control of their body, for stomach aches that appear due to anxiety, for sibling conflicts that kind of bleed into the school day, um, students who struggled wearing their masks in school, issues with friends, which is a very common, as we know, in middle school, and also to help clear out any concerns about asking for help. That one I felt like was used quite a bit. Students who are afraid to raise their hand, afraid of what students would think, um, and clearing that out was just clearly so helpful. Um, Helping students who are really sensitive students, because again, it helps to validate, but also calms their nervous system so that they can start thinking more rationally about things. Um, Students who've been bullied and afraid to come back to school, anxiety over taking tests. And I even had a student who struggled with hair pulling. I wouldn't say necessarily that the student had trichotillomania, but we spent some time, I believe it was 3 sessions, maybe like a half an hour each, just doing some tapping around what they think about when they walk into school and the kids noticing and, things like that. And she was able to shift that behavior naturally on her own. It was really beautiful. And then finally, just getting into classrooms. So I had a couple of teachers who asked for some support with behavior in the classroom. And I did a like 10 to 15-minute presentation and did a really simple EFT technique with the students. And the teacher was able to just take over afterwards and implement it right away. And the feedback that I got from both of those teachers, one was for band at the end of the day, which, as you can imagine, having a bunch of sixth graders with instruments at the end of the day could be challenging. And the other one was for chorus, fifth grade chorus, and all of our students were required to participate. So again, you run into, some students who just didn't want to be there. And both of them spoke about how easy it was to implement and how it really helped them to focus on what the task at hand was and just calm them right down. So the chorus teacher would just start tapping and didn't even have to say anything, and the students would just start tapping along with her and get quieter and regain their focus. So from my perspective, EFT has been a total game changer for me personally and for my students. And I loved when they would come to my office and ask if we could tap on something because they know it works and they could feel it. And I mean, I could see it, but when they could feel it, then they knew how effective it was. So, anyway, it just truly is a gift to be able to use these skills with my clients and to be able to teach educational staff to be able to use these for themselves and for students, and what a difference it makes. Thank you.